Here's everything you need to know about Marvel's Ironheart. This is Nerdist Now. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is nearly here, and it marks the official end of Marvel's Phase 4. As the Marvel Cinematic Universe keeps expanding with a massive slate of new shows and films coming in Phase 5 and beyond, more and more heroes are getting their first appearance on the silver screen. In 2022 alone, we've met Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Werewolf by Night, now we're about to meet Namor the Submariner and Riri Williams, aka Ironheart, and she's poised to be a major staple of the MCU moving forward. Played by actress Dominique Thorne, we'll get to see Riri's origin story in the upcoming Ironheart series. And before that, she'll appear in Black Panther Wakanda Forever as she works alongside Shuri and the First Family of Wakanda. And while we won't see the Ironheart series or Armor Wars movie until 2023 or 2024 at the earliest, we can turn to the comics to learn more about this child genius from Chicago and how she could possibly shape the future of the MCU. Now, if you want to read more in depth about Ironheart, Ty Gooden has you covered over on Nerdist.com. And there's no real way to spoil anything major by talking about her history in the comics, but we will touch on the MCU as a whole, so here's a mild spoiler warning in case you were just unfrozen from April of 2008. Or like 2001 and just lost your mojo? When did Austin Powers come out? Shit. Still here? Groovy, baby! Created by Brian Michael Bendis and Mike Deodato, Riri Williams made her first appearance in 2015's Invincible Iron Man #7. And much like we'll see in Wakanda Forever, Riri was an MIT student building her own suit of armor after reverse engineering technology from the outdated Iron Man armor Model 41. You know, Model 41, that was the armor that Tony made to take a vacation into outer space. It's the kind of thing that super wealthy people just love doing with their spare time. When confronted about her unasked borrowing, Riri does what we all wish we could do in uncomfortable situations. She zoomed off into the sky, jetpack baby! Now, after putting her supersuit through its paces and flying all the way to the southwest, Riri foiled a couple of inmates escaping from a nearby state penitentiary. She stopped their speeding truck, but it cost her her suit of armor. After going undercover as a man named Richard Franco to save War Machine from biohacked ninjas, a real sentence, Tony Stark returned home and found Riri after hearing of her recent adventures. Because that's just what happens at MIT. Gab City over there. Can't keep a secret, just gab, gab, gab. Differential equations. That shit would never go down at Tufts, where I went, with our circus elephant mascot, whose ashes are allegedly in a peanut butter jar in the Athletic. Like Okoye and Shuri in Wakanda Forever, Tony pays Riri a visit, but instead of threatening to take her to Wakanda unconscious, he champions her desire to become a superhero. Riri eventually fought alongside Tony in Civil War II, a terrible event series where Tony got knocked the fuck out by Captain Marvel, then fell into a deep coma. With the guidance of a Tony Stark AI that Tony obviously invented himself, Riri stepped into her role as Ironheart despite her family's disapproval. And like a Galaga-playing prodigy, Ironheart was almost immediately recruited by S.H.I.E.L.D. But unlike a Galaga-playing prodigy, she was sent to Latveria to take down Dr. Doom's prime minister, Lucia von Bardas. Riri eventually defeated the Latvian terrorist and declared herself the monarch of this small nation, a position she later abdicated after she helped pave the way for Latveria's first free elections. The popularity of Riri's character led to her own ongoing Invincible Iron Man Ironheart series in 2016, and over the past several years, we've seen her join the Champions, which is a team made up of teenaged heroes who aren't the Young Avengers. She also helped take down Hydra, time-traveled to a distant future where she met the Sorcerer Supreme Tony Stark, and fought alongside Leonardo da Vinci. Yes, that Leonardo da Vinci, the one from the Starz original series, Da Vinci's Demons. But canceled TV shows that only I watched aside, Tony's also responsible for helping Riri get to Wakanda while she was on the trail of mercenaries from the Ten Rings. You know the Ten Rings, that centuries-old global terrorist organization run by the Mandarin.
My name's Trevor Slattery.
No, not that one. He's a liar. The cool one. Much better. But that's how Riri arrived in Wakanda in the comics. In the movie, it happens just a little bit differently. In the movie, they take a slightly more direct approach and recruit her directly. But what happens after her unexpected study abroad session? Speaking with Cinema Blend, Ironheart producer Nate Moore clarified that Ironheart will be a direct sequel to Black Panther Wakanda Forever. In the interview, Moore said, "So the show is a direct sequel to the movie. So Riri is carrying the experiences she had in this movie back home to MIT, and and there's some interesting repercussions to her adventures that will set her on a fun course. Now, as we've seen teased in the trailers, Riri isn't just a talented engineering student. She created her own fully functioning Iron Man-style armor. But what about an AI version of Tony Stark? Like we said at the end of Civil War II, Tony is laid up in a deep coma, barely kept alive by the numerous biohacks implanted in himself over the years. And while we know Tony, like most comic book heroes, comes back, the Tony Stark of the MCU has said bon voyage and thanks for all the cheeseburgers. We do know that since Tony's death in the MCU, he's left behind multiple pre-recorded messages and holograms for everyone from Pepper Potts to Spider-Man, or as I like to call them, a pack of pickled or as I like to call them, a pack of pickled pictures from Pepper Potts and Peter Parker. Let me take that one more time. Yeah. Or as I like to call them, a pack of pickled pictures for Pepper Potts and Peter Parker. Something that just rolls off the tongue. Why do I do this? Anyway, it's not that big of a stretch to think that Tony might have been cataloging his brain into a computer ever since he got out of that cave with what he made with a box of scraps. Scraps! And while we're pretty sure there's not a holographic Tony floating around Wakanda, Riri will be returning to MIT for the Ironheart series, and that could set up the return of Pepper Potts. After all, Tony did make a point of paying the school a visit during Civil War. And in the comics, after some time as Ironheart, Pepper, aka Rescue, made herself known and told Riri she's been watching her for some time. Now, all of this happened right before they were both ambushed by the Techno Golem, who we're putting on our list of potential Ironheart villains right at number 2 after the Hood, or number 3 if those Mephisto rumors aren't a cruel Ralph Boner style joke they're playing on us specifically. But if anyone has access to this theoretical Tony AI, it's definitely Pepper Potts, who understands the non-stop workings of a super genius's brain better than anyone else. Of course, there's no word yet on if Gwyneth Paltrow will ever return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's probably pretty easy to get her to come back because she doesn't remember being in these movies anyway.
Well, yeah, we were in Spider-Man together. Remember we were on Spider-Man?
We weren't in Spider-Man.
Yes, we were.
Homecoming.
You were in Spider-Man.
No.
Again, this is all speculation for the time being, but thankfully we don't have to wait too long to see exactly how Ironheart will help forge the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But tell us, folks, what do you think? What do you want to see from an Ironheart series? Who do you think the big bad of Ironheart will really be? Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, make sure you stay tuned to Nerdist.com.